And I quote, "I'll be there in a minute. Give me a second."
Time is relative, folks. Time is relative.
Yes. So, hey, cheers to everybody in the chat.
They're a division rival. I don't care how many wins they get. Screw them.
That wasn't the take I was expecting to hear.
I want to gush over watching live Chris Tanev.
I think that we completely underestimate the skill it takes to play defense.
One highlight or several highlights does not a Calder trophy make.
I'm stepping in here. I'm going to be the crotchety old man here. They need to learn patience. They need to understand the tension, and everything, and the drama.
How dare! Look at this. How is McDavid not getting a penalty?
You guys need to calm down with this, okay? You guys need to calm down.
Happy New Year! Welcome to the Shifts and Pucks podcast. And yes, I am not Kevin Olnick. Yeah, it is me. Sean is driving the bus, and it's already off the road into the ditch. We're off-roading. Yeah,
Green back towards the road.
We're trying.
Yeah.
But yes, welcome to the Shifts and Pucks podcast.
Get on the road.
It is a brand new year. Same old shit from us. So, all right, people. Have you gotten over your Christmas bloat yet?
Yes, actually, for once. Mostly it's because I haven't had much time off work, and I'm not doing this for sympathy reasons. It's just the reality of a busy winter working in highway maintenance. But yeah, we've been going through it, so no time to get plugged.
I didn't have many big meals over this past couple of weeks because I didn't have a traditional Christmas.
There you go.
That's right, Chris. And despite your best efforts, when you went to the Bills game, no tables were harmed.
I tried, man. I tried. But everywhere I went for tailgating had no table slamming signs. So I'm guessing that they were trying to make a concerted effort to not have any major shenanigans go off the rails for the final game at the old Highmark Stadium.
Yeah.
Man, Chris, you got to go to the last game at the old Highmark Stadium. How was that, though?
It was incredible. I have to say, everyone talks about the legend that is Bills Mafia, but it is a thing to behold in person. The amount of people that show up in that district around the stadium and whether it's residential neighborhoods, whether it's empty lots, whether it's right next to the construction site across the road at New Highmark, I'm not even sure how many people to summarize it with, but a significant amount of people show up there 6 hours before the game and are drinking their faces off.
And they must have been impressed that a couple of people from Western Canada were there to soak up the whole experience too, I bet, eh?
I mean, when we said that we were from BC, yeah, there was people that were like, whoa, you traveled quite a ways.
Yeah.
But as someone who also attended the Seahawks game where the Bills were playing in Lumen, I will say Bills Mafia does travel well too.
There we go. So were you sitting on snow or was it shoveled out?
It was shoveled out. The snow that came down in Buffalo was a full 48 hours, I think, before the game.
Okay.
It was definitely winter weather. Chelsea and I were both layered up and we were prepared for the cold, but it was only about -5, but you add lake effect humidity there, that feels like -15.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely.
But no, yeah, had a great time at the game. And then I guess to go further back in time when I was saying a non-traditional Christmas, I spent the previous week down in Cuba.
Yeah, boy, you study of contrast.
I hate you.
Yeah.
Clear water, white sandy beaches. I am sold on tropical vacations, and I don't know how I didn't do it sooner in life.
And just gloating about it too. Just rub it in some more, Chris.
But actually, all that being said, because of the whole geopolitical situation that has played out since I left Cuba, I'm kind of glad that I got out of there when I did.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I went up north. I went up to the North Pole, Wainwright, Alberta.
Story of extremes.
Minus 30. Minus fucking 30 for Christmas. It was... At least I got the full on like Martha Stewart like homemade eggnog that gave me quite the buzz that helped me get through that.
No doubt. Although it's kind of funny that we literally had a 60-degree difference.
Dude, I've been so used to getting that for my life with my my parents both being down, always finding ways down to like either my dad's down in like Central America and my mom's down in Argentina. So it's like, oh yeah, it's minus 30 here in Calgary for Christmas, minus 20. And then you get the, oh yeah, it's like 25, 30 degrees here. I'm like, it's just not fair. But all right, so yeah, last time we were on, it was the December 22nd. We had Devin, and we were the Quinn Hughes trade was still pretty fresh. And since then, the Canucks have gone 1-3-2 since the Christmas break, losing 6-3 to San Jose, having a 3-2 shootout win in Seattle, a 6-3 loss to Philadelphia, a 4-3 shootout loss to Seattle at home, 3-2 overtime loss to Boston at home, and then last night they go down 3-0 to Buffalo. No, sorry, 4-0 to Buffalo. Storm back in the second half of the third period and make it 4-3, but end up losing 5-3. I know a lot of us have been busy with holidays and everything and probably haven't been able to watch too much of it. But in those games, the Canucks' leading goal scorers are Philip Hronek with 1 goal, 5 assists. Linus Karlsson, freshly signed Linus Karlsson with 3 goals, 2 assists. Jake DeBrusk with a goal, 2 goals and 2 assists. And EP40 with 3 goals and 1 assist. The new look Canucks. I know it. Are we starting to see what this team's going to look like at least for the rest of this year?
Yes, yeah, and it's going to be trying. If you're somebody that's concerned about staying near the bottom of the standings, I think that's. Right now they're in 31st place, so 3 points behind Calgary for 30th. Just a game ahead of the Jets, although the Jets have a game in hand. And yeah, it's a pretty tough watch. And we had to chuckle last night watching it with my friends, seeing Kiefer Sherwood on the point on a power play with Tom Villander back there as the lone defenseman. It was, that kind of shows where they're at a little bit.
Yeah, the Canucks had a little bit of a lucky streak, if you will, immediately after the trade. But I don't think the people who are obsessed with tanking for McKenna have too much to worry about. I don't think the arc of this season has changed all that much.
No, and then you have Connor Garland out for going on the IR, as well as newly acquired Marco Rossi. So. It's just what was plaguing the Canucks pre-Quinn Hughes trade has not changed. They do not have the scoring, and they won't have it until Petey can get going and start producing at least a point per game pace, as well as a couple more players to go along with him. And the thing with the Canucks right now is it feels like they just have a bunch of like really good third liners on this team and solid second liners. They outside of Petey, they do not have anyone who has first line potential. Because let's be like, as much as we know that Petey can be a first line and a bona fide superstar in this league. He hasn't played like it in how long? And even right now, like 3 goals, 1 assist in six games is not first line point per game production that you need from him. Yet his all round game is there, but his offensive game is still sort of recovering from that ginormous funk that he was in. And depending on where the Canucks finish at the end of the season and what draft pick they get, what luck they get in the draft lottery, you've got McKenna, you've got keep wanting to say Anton Frundell, but he's already been drafted. There's the other Stenberg, yeah. Those are your 2 guys that they're probably going to look at for top picks for the Canucks this year, if they can get a top 2 or 3 pick, and both of those would really help that. We'll get into the World Juniors a little bit later, but is there anything? Actually, no. Let's get into the Linus Karlsson signing. He signed a 2-year deal worth $2.25 million. Is it, or 2.5? One of those. Great podcasting, Sean.
Yeah.
For 2 years. What did you think of that signing?
I mean, for what it's like, where he's at in his career arc and what he's shown, I feel like it's fair. And as we talked about in our like podcast group chat, like for where the Canucks are in their arc and where he is in his career, like, and with where the salary cap is in for the league, especially with it going up moving forward, like, it's a totally realistic contract. I have no issues with it.
I would say it's earned as well, and he's put up his best numbers so far as an NHLer, and he's just the age is a good fit. It's not a long commitment to make either. Obviously, the Canucks being in I don't want to use hybrid rebuild here. I won't say it that way. Let's call it transition, but they're going through a lot of changes. This is to me a perfectly fine signing.
Yeah, 2.25 was what was the cap hit there. Yeah, we'll get into that hybrid rebuild thing a little bit after this, Tyler. I do want to touch on that quickly. But yeah, I think it's a good deal. 2 years. He is 26 years old. He looks like he's starting to find his role as a middle 6 winger on this team, and I think he could be a middle 6 winger on most teams, honestly. Just the way he plays and his nose for the net. I think it's a good signing. And I don't think he's got much more than that, which is why they signed him to this deal, not something longer term, trying to make a bet on him. When you're in transition the way the Canucks are, you can't be making you have to be very calculated with your bets, and going long term. And you also have to keep these guys hungry. You can't let them become fat and happy with a 4-year deal worth whatever that would be for Linus Karlsson.
Yeah,
you got to keep them hungry, and that's the part where when you have media members in this market whose immediate response is to shit on a deal that is actually fine and missing the fucking point, because all they're trying to do is fantasy book the best fucking rebuild as possible without looking at the actual reality of things.
Yeah.
I think I find that frustrating. It's part of why I find a lot of the coverage frustrating these days is that it's all about the idealistic way, the perfect way, what the models say you should do, even though there's more than that involved. You've got people involved which can just blow up models and everything all the time, right?
The human factors here are, I think, the biggest thing that's missing there, right? Like everybody can come up with what they think looks good on paper, and they can pull whatever advanced stats that supports their argument for the team that they think should be the team. But if those guys can't find chemistry, you're not going anywhere. So there's a whole lot of ifs in reality.
There is, yes. So yeah, I think the Linus Karlsson signing is good. It's fine. It's not spectacular. It's not horrible, but it's fine, and it's going to help the Canucks in the next couple years. And then if he does find a sort of find the upper echelon of his what I think his realistic sort of potential and ceiling is, which would be like a solid second liner.
Yeah.
Well, then they could still sign him to a good deal, and that's still going to be found money. But if he's still in that third line, maybe even even if he doesn't get there and he ends up being a fourth liner, by the time you find that out and the Canucks are actually looking to spend to the cap and are looking to compete, that 2.25 when the cap's going to be upwards of 120 million or close to 120 million, it's chump change.
Mm-hmm.
It's chump change. So, but okay. So, was it we got the term hybrid rebuild from Patrick Alvin over this break, which threw everyone for a fucking loop because I do get the frustration where it's like just call it a rebuild.
Yeah.
Just call it this, but it's managing up. People have to remember that they have to manage up. And that's not just to the Aquilinians and ownership, but that's also to sponsors, where a lot of the money comes from. It's also managing down to the season ticket holders who do not want to put their hard-earned money when, for a lot of them, they're putting a lot of their expendable income into these season tickets, and they don't want to see a long downturn. And I said I get it. I get why people want to see something different from this franchise, but my thought is when you look at where the Canucks what the Canucks have in the pipeline. Yes, there's not a lot, but what they do have, especially on the back end, where that can be a big speed bump for a lot of rebuilding teams, is getting the right blue line in. Tom Villander looks legit. Getting Steve Bouillon in the Hughes trade, huge. You've got those two to build around that blue line, let alone you've got Petey, Mancini, who both have had and already have NHL experience, and they're still on the younger side of things. Then you've got Kudryavtsev and Sawyer Minyo, as well as others. There's a good core of young. Core is the wrong word. There's a good group of young defensemen that they're developing that are ahead of where a lot of teams have their defensemen in these rebuilds. So when you do have, they should get they should be, if all things go right, they should be getting a top end offensive player in the draft this year to go along with Lekaramäki, to go along with, hopefully Petey can find his game. And then you can continue to build along with that. Right? I think it's there. I think there is reasons why they feel like not going full on tear it down rebuild like a lot of people are wanting makes sense to them.
This is not to say that the people advocating that are wrong, but we've heard this from Jim Rutherford. Like, everybody wants draft picks. Well, those draft picks may not pan out, may not play. And he seems to favor more of let's acquire some prospects that we've seen some sample on. And it's a little more they could trust that a little more as far as what they're getting, as opposed to just the crapshoot of a draft pick. But either way, again, like I said earlier, the chemistry has to work. What kind of team do they want to have? That going forward, I mean, that's going to be the big question. Like the pace of last night against Buffalo. I mean, that's not scaring anybody. The pace at which the Canucks are playing, they can put it together for flashes like we saw in the second half of the third period there, when maybe the other teams let the foot off the pedal a little bit. But otherwise, it's that's not threatening.
No, they definitely need to find some more pace and some more speed. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. And I think they are trying to get that. That's why they ID'd Marco Rossi in the trade. They ID'd Z Buyam instead of what was the rumors that like Buffalo was someone that they was interested, and they were offering up Bowen Byram, which I mean last night meant that everyone was like trying to compare the two. But Buyam is barely too old to play in the World Juniors. People have to remember that. He just turned 20.
Yeah.
Like he's got a long way to go. He's already showing that he's going to be good. So it's, I think when you look at that, you also look at the goaltending pipeline that the Canucks have. Yes, they traded away Shelovs, but Demko, Lankinen at the NHL level. You got Ty Young, you got Tolo Pilo in, as well as a couple others already in the AHL, and then you've got
Medvedev playing for
the
Knights,
playing for the London Knights, right? So it's you've got some pieces there that you can, if you get some luck in the draft lottery, you use that second first round pick that they have this year to get another young player into the system. You can start to see why. I think you can start to see why they feel that it can be a shorter transition than what everyone kind of wants to see / I don't know, expects, or what the right word is, but
what we collectively went through during the Benning era.
Yeah. So, all right. Is there anything else with the Canucks?
No, no. Just people are just going to have to hang in there till the Olympics. We'll have a great excitement over that, and then we'll be right back into the slog after.
Exactly.
And
like honestly, like we've also had a great time with hockey and sports in general right now, because the holidays are heating up on Pick 6, DraftKings' newest fantasy pick'em game. Make your NBA picks for a shot to win big cash prizes this holiday season. Here's how it works. You just choose more or less on 2 or more player stats. The more accurate your picks, the bigger your payout. It's the kind of upside you only find on Pick 6, not on other pick'em sites, and it's available in most states, including Texas, California, Georgia, and more. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use the code THPN. New DraftKings customers can play just $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits with code THPN. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 1-887-897777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus to play. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 is not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer. Hey, I did my first ad read.
Yes, you did it. You did it. There we go. There you go. You know, when I used to work for I was there would be a lot of anxiety over those parts, not getting those.
And we'll only get better with repetition.
It only gets
Yes.
better from here, Sean.
Yes.
Well done.
And as I said with the holidays, what comes around? World Juniors,
Yes.
where Canada's sports mental health gets affected by teenagers and whether or not they win or lose.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how national pride just really everyone just gets so wrapped up in it, right? Another disappointing finish for Canada. They did medal this time with the bronze, but again, Czechia, just what are they going to do about Czechia?
They've had their number the past couple of years.
Yeah, they have. Sweden wins, Czechia second, Canada finishes third, beating Finland in the bronze medal match. Do we want to go out do we want to talk about the end of that Czechia game? Because that seems to be a big talking point.
Are we talking like the meltdown part of it, or?
Yeah, sort of like you got that very, very, very controversial goaltender interference call that took them off the power play, and then allowed Czechia to get the empty netter to
put the game
to seal the game.
The officiating is a challenge for anybody watching this tournament, and I'll warn people these are not NHL referees. It's probably going to get worse before it gets better. I think it's not helped by video review. You've got, that's just making an all for these guys. Like some of them early in the tournament, some of these the European refs, they come over. They're in an NHL building. Let's say they're doing the U.S. team against somebody. They're in an NHL building. It's on TV. The lights are bright. There is a lot happening here, and they're not that comfortable, and it's inconsistent. But as the tournament goes on, a call like that one is, by that point of the tournament, you can't really be surprised that they're going to call something like that, or that it would be a possibility that that's going to be called.
And we watch this every winter. We know it's IIHF refs and IIHF rules. It's not the same as the NHL, so we can't, as fans, look at it through an NHL officiated lens.
We haven't learned this over the last 10 years or so. Are you ever going to learn this? I don't
know. No, but it is tough for the kids who go from CHL officiating, which is one standard, to this standard. And they're competitive guys. I can completely understand why McKenna melted down. I can completely understand why Rajni melted down.
Yes.
Should the McKenna 10-minute misconduct be avoidable? Yes. Kevin mentioned that a couple times on social media, but at that point, I'm pretty sure he knew that the game was over. I'm pretty sure he knew that, as long as he didn't go too far and got suspended for the Brosville match, it doesn't really matter. And I hate saying that for officials, because I think it's a very, very tough job. And I think we are way too harsh on them as fans and consumers of all the product, regardless of sport, league, or whatever. But to me, that also just shows his fire for McKenna, who didn't set the tournament on fire, but he wasn't invisible either. That's a thing. And then throw in the frustration of losing to Czechia last year, let alone it being the third year in a row, even though I don't think anyone on this team was on all 3 years. But you feel that weight when you're on the team, that losing to Czechia again is not acceptable.
It wasn't McKenna's second, so maybe that carryover is partially why it had that outburst he had.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. So I don't know. I think that it's not the best, but it's one of those things that I look at that and I don't knock him for it. And I think that just shows his fire. And what's the saying? You'd rather try and tame a wild tiger instead of try and put stripes on a kitty cat. Like it's just you want that fire out of a player, especially someone who is gunning for the first overall pick. Has made a massive like risk with that in terms of not staying in the WHL and going to the NCAA, and you're already having people question his whether or not he is the bona fide number one pick. But yeah, I think to me that's just I think it's an emotional spot where you saw everyone have emotional responses to it. He did, Canada did, as a general, all his fans and everything. But when in the grand scheme of things, it's a nothing burger incident that he took that penalty. In my opinion.
I mean, wouldn't we all react that way if we had the juices flowing as hard as they were and there was all this pressure and all the things that you described? I mean, it's easy from the living room to say, "Oh no, I mean that didn't look good." I mean, this is competing, and you're on a team that is supposed to win, and I use the air quotes there because it's less of a certain thing nowadays, but. When you come up short, it's going to be very, very sour taste in the mouth. Leading up to that moment, though, I think it's just, Canada didn't deserve to win the game. I mean, just the hand on the puck penalty. I mean, that's just such a brain cramp. Like you just can't have that right off the checks and handed you a freebie with too many men. Like that just kind of summed up.
I hated that because it was like you saw Misa sort of just like his hand touched the puck and he pulled it away because he knew. Like it was. I don't think it was even much of a brain cramp. It was just more reflex. Not only just to. Yeah, he almost. I think that standard, in my opinion, that standard's too tight on that, but I can understand why they have it. It's just I mean, it sucks.
But that was just such a killer when that happened because I mean they were like that they had a chance there.
And another thing to keep in mind is the parity on the world stage for hockey now at the World Juniors is the most it's the closest parity we've ever seen. This used to be a Canada versus US for the gold medal match, dominant tournament for 2 decades, basically for
Canada, Russia, US.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the fact that whether it's Latvia making rumblings, whether it's the Czechs and the Slovaks consistently pushing their way into that top 5 grouping, it's not just Canada US dominated tournament anymore.
There's two things that's coming for this year specifically. There's 2 things that happened. One, you have to remember there was still five Canadian teenagers that could have played in this tournament.
Yeah,
that were not let go from their teams. You had Berkeley Catton, you had Macklin Celebrini, you had Schaefer. Who else am I forgetting? Dickinson and Ben Kindle. You get even one of the I think I can't remember if it was Dale Hunter or someone mentioned that they felt that they were missing just a solid stay-at-home defenseman, and that Sam Dickinson could have been that. And you have that, and you just have that stable force on the back end. A lot of what played Canada in this tournament was just brutal, defensive zone coverage and scrambling and everything. You get a Dickinson back in that, and it's not even close. Canada runs away with. I don't know that they have all 5, right?
Yeah, and it used to be, Canada with, I wouldn't call it a B team, but being short of their true A team for this tournament was still, a cut above the rest of the field.
I mean, there was
really
usually
needing those players.
It was really 2 or 3 players that they were missing. I think it was at most.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing and then they still got Zane Parekh. They still got Michael Misa. They still got there's at least, I think there's one more who got let go from their junior team and came down and played for Team Canada. Let alone you had like Jet Luchenko and Braden Coots, who got a cup of tea at the beginning of the year, but went back to junior after. The gap has closed, but if you have Canada's best players in this tournament, it's not close.
Yeah.
This year it would not have been close. I mean, part of that is Celebrini because he's so damn good. He made the Canadian Olympic team.
Yeah, and I just want to say, because I've seen this counter argument made. Do you remember the one in Ufa, Russia in 2013 when there was an NHL lockout taking place, and the Canadian team captained by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and the Americans won that tournament. So yes, it can happen that if Canada has all their players available, but in this particular context, the names that you mentioned, it should have been pretty favorable for Canada.
Yeah. So, but the gap has closed, and that's actually fantastic for the sport.
It is.
But Canada does need to take a look at this a little bit. It's not a emergency like they had where they had with this after they finished 6th or whatever it was back in the 90s, and they had like the summits. They had a summit to try and figure things out. But they do need to take a look at this, and it's not necessarily the CHL and the top end stuff. I think it's more you get back down into the grassroots. I believe it was Carlo Coliacovo put a post out there on social media about how there's too many super teams that are being built with top players, and they're just going around and just destroying everyone. And then as soon as they hit any sort of troubles and everything, they sort of wilt. They don't build up the ability to fight through it. And actually, Beckett Seneca, I think, was also available for this team as well. So it's just. You look at a lot of it's there for the taking. So
in that you're just thinking back to the worst result for Canada there, 1998 World Juniors, 8th place after losing to Russia in the quarterfinals. So we've had some 5ths and I think a 6th in there in the last decade or so, but let's try not to get back to that. Hey, yikes!
Exactly. So I said, I do think they need to take a look at things, but you still look at the top players in hockey and the top young players in hockey. They're still majority Canadian.
I'm still. I just before we move on from the topic, I still have my reluctance over how they're putting the team together, who the coaches are, who the management is. I don't know that much about it, really. I'm just kind of speculating here. But if there is any politicization of those processes, that needs to be looked at.
Agreed. I think you have to.
Whenever you don't win, there's going to be questions about who made the team, and
exactly.
We've had a few of these now.
Well, last year it was the big one was Zane Parekh not making the team, right?
Yeah.
So and he comes in and sets the Canadian record for single tournament points by a defenseman, beating out Alex Pietrangelo and Brian Berard, who continue to be not mentioned. By the way, the Brian Berard eraser on the broadcast kind of annoyed me. I was just like, come on, it was a two-way tie. Mention both. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, before we move on to the Olympics, as I alluded to earlier, I'll just quickly go through what the Canucks prospects did. Braden Coots had 2 goals in the tournament. Wilson Bjork played mostly fourth line minutes for Team Sweden. Didn't record a point. Basil Sanonens was on Team Switzerland and got a goal and assist. And then after the tournament, Braden Coots was part of the WHL trade deadline and was traded from Seattle to Prince Albert for a Memorial Cup run. So I think you're going to be able to see. Hopefully, he does have a good deep run, because then Chris can go see him in Kelowna, where the Memorial Cup is this year.
Yes.
I mean, provided I can afford those tickets, because they're quite pricey. But yeah, the fact that they are coming to Kelowna, I'm definitely stoked for.
Yeah, and I think just off the top of my head, a couple other big moves that happened in that is that Iginla Jr., Joe Iginla, was traded to the Vancouver Giants.
Those guys are now in BC.
Yes. So, yeah, it's we'll hopefully Braden Coots can go on a good run, because that will be really good for him and his development. All right, so yes, Macklin Celebrini made the Olympic team. It was spoiled to us a day ahead by some reporting, which kind of annoyed me, because I just want, like, this is a big thing. Like, make it let the announcements happen for me. Like, I feel like we're at a point where it's like it's media, like for a lot of the media, it's them first, and the sport they're covering, the event they're covering second. Like, and to a sense, I get it, but like, it should be the other way around, in my opinion. Like, let the pomp and circumstance happen. Let us be surprised that Macklin Celebrini made the team.
So what you're saying is you're mad at Katie Strang for reporting it, not for me for posting it into the group chat.
I was never mad at you, Chris.
Well, I mean, I'm not defending it, but I mean, a lot of these people, it is their job to break news. So if they're not doing it, they probably don't stay in that role very often. But to your point, once in a while, it'd be nice if they just let it go.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
But in terms of the Canadian roster, what were your reactions? Who do you think made it that you were surprised? Who didn't make it that you were surprised on as well?
Well, I mean, Sam Bennett's obvious, but I just what's surprising to me since the announcement is how there has been very little said as to really why he wasn't picked. I'm amazed at how there hasn't been something leaked out in that regard. Like, they would have had to have a reason. There must be some concern as to why a guy who's had such a great resume recently, both for Team
the reigning MVP,
and then DeConn Smythe and the 2 Stanley Cups. Like, I mean, like there has to be a specific reason and a concern that they have that to not have picked him. And with all due respect to the other guys that made it, including our old pal Bo Horvat, I mean, I don't like. It's hard to see how this makes sense. But if they win the gold medal, then they'll have picked the right team. Yeah,
the fact that they at least at surface level, it seems like they decided to go with Wilson instead of Bennett, and I guess we'll just have to see if that gamble ultimately pays off. But that as well as Celebrini making it. I can't say that I was totally surprised that they didn't want to take the risk on Schaefer. Like, he definitely has earned the look to potentially make the team, but ultimately they wanted to go with the same exact 8 guys that they took to the Four Nations. Clearly they have faith in that chemistry of those 4 pairings. Yeah. So ultimately, like, I don't like have too much to quip over. It was mostly just the shock factor of no Bennett and choosing Wilson instead, and then the fact that Celebrini actually made it was kind of the two noteworthy parts for me.
Yeah, I think it was. I thought Bedard and Celebrini played their way onto the team, but I think when you look at the way that they constructed this team, it's definitely slotting players into roles that they think are the players can be successful in. Which again, kind of still makes me question why Bennett's not there.
Yeah.
But I bet you he's probably 1A or 1B on the replacement list, honestly. And like, it's like immediately after like the roster's announced, there's so many like little injuries that have popped up. Bo Horvat's out week to week. You've got Tom Wilson got injured as well. Like it's just like this roster may not be the roster that goes, and there's a good chance we'll have one or two players that get replaced just because of injuries.
Tinfoil hat, but the fact that it's a John Cooper coach team, the fact that Hagel and Cirelli both made it, maybe that Florida-Tampa rivalry played into some effect. Like, we don't know.
He was speculate last time in the Four Nations too, but Elliot Friedman had reported on Sportsnet that it sounded like the management basically went to John Cooper and said, "Who would you like for a few of the spots?" So, I think the coach has to have players that is going to work with the way he wants to coach. So there's that.
Yeah.
I just want to say goaltending. I definitely feel a lot more confidence in the group that they have here compared to the Four Nations tournament with Binnington, Thompson, and Darcy Kemper. There's a good mix of experience and track record there. So, and I would think in this tournament, given that you're going to have at least 4 games, probably going to see 2 of them play. I would think we've seen that in the past, and then whoever kind of played the best out of the first 2 games is probably going to take it the rest of the way.
Yeah, they'll probably give Binnington a chance, but given how consistently good he's been playing the past 2 years, I think Thompson might potentially earn his way into that starting role.
Yeah,
I think it's between Binnington and Thompson for sure. They've as good as Kemper has been. They probably brought him along just as a nice safety net. As well as like someone they know what isn't going to rock the boat, being the third guy.
Right? No disrespect, but he's a better insurance plan than Montembeault.
Yes.
Yeah.
But going back to the sort of the John Cooper and Hagel and Cirelli. Hagel, like that, he's a point per game player, like, and is physical, doesn't shy away, and he's physical and in a very disciplined way, which is what you're going to need in this tournament.
Maybe they felt like Bennett and Hagel were somewhat redundant role-wise. We're talking about that they're trying to go very role-specific, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, but I think the if you're going to question the one of those guys, like any of that, it'd be Cirelli for me. He's got 25 points in 38 games this year. It's not compared to what a lot of the other guys are putting up. And you've got Suzuki and Horvat who play very similar roles as well. So I think we'll see what this team actually looks like start when they get to Italy, assuming that everything's all done in Italy.
Yeah, so Luke Tardif, the IIHF president, addressed the media in St. Paul there at the end of the World Junior Tournament and indicated that the ice and the dressing rooms will be ready, but perhaps some of the fan amenities and parts of the concourse may not be ready, which is that's just embarrassing. But as long as they can still put on the tournament, that's concern number one. But what a gong show that is.
That basically just makes the local committee in Italy just, it doesn't look good on them.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
All right, and then with any of the other,
I was just going to say Canada's schedule, just so everybody's aware. February 12th, they open against Czechia. Then they play the next day against Switzerland, and then it's February 15th. They have a day off in between their second or third game. That one will be against France, and then hopefully they're headed straight into the quarterfinals after that.
Yeah. Was there any other surprises on like the U.S. or Sweden or any of those teams, or did that all sort of feel good to you guys?
Mostly expected. I think the biggest shock factor to me was that JT Miller didn't play his way off the roster.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll put a pretty good performance together in the American colors at the Olympics, but he's been going through it this year. That's for sure.
I would say Jason Robertson not making it is probably the biggest surprise to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else that has happened over the holidays that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I mean, it'd be nice if the snow could give us a break up here for once. No, we're good.
I mean,
all right.
The weather, Kelowna still barely has a skiff of snow. It's been a very mild winter here in the Okanagan.
I'm waving you off.
Well, thank you for everyone thank you for tuning in. How can we follow you guys?
I'm on x.com at tnoble, TNOBLE.
You can find me on most social media at Schneids, SCHNEIDZ.
Kevin is KEVOLE on most social medias. Devin is off somewhere. I could give you his social media, but he's never on it. So we'll leave that there. I am BeardyConnect03 on X. You can follow us at Shifts and Pucks on X, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving us your time. We will see you next time. Bye for now.